Alright, guys, welcome back. Kingless Jester here again, and today we have a Stephen King tier list. None other than a Stephen King villains tier list. Yes, we're going to try to find the biggest, baddest, meanest, evilest villain that Stephen King has come up with. Let's see. So to start off, we have quite a bit. Uh, we have some villains with superpowers. We have some villains that are just normal, everyday humans. Now, I know that this list isn't going to include every villain that Stephen King has created. That just would be too long. So I included some of the more prominent, some of the more well-known villains, pretty much the big bads, and we'll see what happens. Let's have them battle it out, and this is what I think, and you guys feel free to comment below and let me know what you guys think. All right, so let's see. To start it off with, we have Christine. All right, so Christine, I mean, shit, she's a bad, she's a bad girl now. I'll have to say, Christine's nothing to mess with. I mean, she's supernatural too. She can regenerate. Like, kind of hard to kill. I mean, Christine, baby, where do I need to put you? I'm gonna have to say Christine is gonna be an A. I mean, yeah, I mean she's definitely has the advantage when she's on asphalt, when she's on the road. But I mean, we've seen snow, whatever it is, she can kind of find a way to get to you. She can get to her target. All right, now we have let's see, we have Leland Gaunt from Needful Things. Now Leland Gaunt is he's a creepy motherfucker. Leland Gaunt's creepy. I'll say. I mean, and he's got some supernatural powers as well. I mean, persuasion. I mean, that guy can practically hypnotize you with his artifacts and cause you to. I mean, let's face the facts, guys. He literally caused the whole town to turn on itself. I'd say Leland is an A. He's an A. He's a badass. I mean, all right, first two, and we have them pretty highly ranked. All right, so let's see. Next, we have George Stark. So George Stark is from the Dark Half. He's Thaddeus Beaumont's pseudonym, if I'm not mistaken, and he's pretty. He's a supernatural figure as well. I mean, he can be hurt and kind of be dealt with like a human, but he is supernatural. He's just a badass, though. I mean, that guy. I'd put George Stark. I'd give George. I put George as a B. He's pretty tough, but I think Christine and Leland could pretty much handle him. All right, now we have Miss White from Carrie. Now Miss White, she's pure evil. I she's not really that tough. She's just pure evil. And I mean, other than manipulating her daughter, I don't really think she'd have a chance getting anywhere else. I mean, she's a good villain. I mean, she is really a good Stephen King villain. I mean, if you want to look at it that way, uh, I'm gonna have to put her at D. I'll put her at D. All right. So next we have Henry Bowers. All right, Henry Bowers from It. Now, Henry Bowers is a great character study. He's a great villain. I mean, this guy, he has a lot working for him in the bad department. I would put Henry. He's right there. He'd be a B as well. He's right there with George. He's a badass. I mean, some could argue that he turns supernatural. I mean, he gets messed with by Pennywise pretty hard, and he's kind of under his control at some points. But he's a B. He's a pretty sturdy B. All right, now we have Aw, we have baby Gage, Gage Creed, Gage from Pet Cemetery. Now Gage, I mean, he's a creep. This guy's creepy as shit, man. I mean, honestly, the demon that's possessing this guy, though, really, Gage is at an A. I genuinely think Gage would be an A. I do think Christine could take out Leland, I think, and Gage as well. But Gage would be an A. Gage, people, they underestimate Gage. I mean, yeah, I get it. It's a baby, throw that little kid around. But still, no, yeah. That little kid's badass. Oh, okay. So, all right. So, next we have one of my favorite villains, one of my favorite characters in general. We have Randall Flagg. To me, Randall Flagg, he's just something else. I mean, so for Randall Flagg, I'm gonna have to put Randall as an S. Randall he's in so many of Stephen King's works that you can examine him, whether it's The Stand, whether it's The Dark Tower, Eyes of the Dragon. I mean, you can look at him in so many different ways, and he's a great, great villain. All right, next we have Rose the Hat from Dr. Sleep. Rose the Hat is pretty awesome too. She's badass. She's not anything to be messed with. Man, I think Rose the Hat would give Christine a run. Yeah, Rose would take Christine and Leland and Gage out, I believe. She's pretty badass. She's not on Randall's level, but she's, man. All right, so let's see. Next up, we have another a classic character that I really, truly do like as a villain, of course. Greg Stillson. Greg Stillson, he's a fucking maniac, man. That guy, he needs some help. But honestly, I'd put him at a C. I mean, I think Henry, I think George could handle him. He'd be below them, I believe, but I like him a lot, man. He's a politician. Come on now, you can't expect much. I mean, you see in the book he can handle himself, but still. All right, so let's see what next. Ooh, we have a goodie. We have old Annie Wilkes. Now Annie, Annie's a crazy bitch. I could see Annie for sure. I could see Annie fucking tying these guys up to the bed, and having her way with them, telling them to write a book. Hey, I found my new Paul. Seriously, Annie, she's a badass. All right, so then we have the Overlook Hotel from The Shining and Dr. Sleep. Man, the Overlook Hotel, holy cow. And I consider this a character in its own. I mean, that place that's a character. It's a villain. I mean, it's its own entity, I'm telling you. And I think the Overlook Hotel would be top tier with Randall Flagg. I think Randall Flagg, not saying that he could defeat it, because it's really, you can't you're talking about a different thing. We're talking about defeating Overlook. But he could definitely, maybe possibly escape or just evade it, or who knows, could feed off its negativity. So yeah, I would say for sure Overlook is top tier. And then we have another one of my favorite villains. We have Pennywise. Or we have it in her Pennywise form. All right. And we're going to say it top tier. Yeah, I think Pennywise could get Randall Flagg. And we'll get back to this in a bit, but why you think so. But yeah, for sure. All right, so next up we have Dandelo. I really like this character, Dandelo from the Dark Tower series. I think it's book 7. We're introduced to Dandelo. He actually has he's oh, I should have said, guys, sorry, spoilers. I apologize if I've said anything before, but this is going to be a spoiler. He actually is holding Patrick Danville, hostage and feeding off of him, and Roland and the quartet roll up and they do their thing. But I really do like Dandelo. Joe Collins, he's like a former stand-up comedian, so he drains the life out of his victims by making them laugh. I think he's badass. I'd say I think he would be behind Christine because I think Christine could handle him, and I think Rose the Hat could handle him. I mean, it might be harder for Rose to handle him, but Rose could take Christine out easier than Rose could take Dandelo out, but so I don't know. All right, so next, okay, so this brings back to Pennywise, Spider, Randall Flagg. Next we have I'm saying that all these characters are my favorite characters. All these characters are great. I love these characters. Next is Mordred. Mordred Deschain. This is Roland and the Crimson King's kid. Now this guy is a badass, and all right, and Mordred, he can. I think yeah. Well, I think Pennywise, it would be able to handle Mordred for sure. It's now spoilers. Mordred kills Randall Flagg, so we already know for a fact who comes out in that battle. Mordred just has way more, so much more mental control over his victims. Like he was able to read Randall Flagg's thoughts, and he knew every move that Randall Flagg was going to make, and just he had no chance. But Randall Flagg's awesome as shit, and a lot of people don't like how Randall Flagg went out, and this is in the Dark Tower series. I think it's badass. I mean, Mordred's a badass character. I mean, he kind of goes out a little cheaply as well, but dude, he's awesome. Yeah, he's a sick ass villain. All right, then we have another villain I really like. It's the Outsider. Now, the Outsider, he works in a different ways. I mean, I think the Outsider would be A tier, but man, it's tough. All right, I'm gonna put him A tier above. I think he. All right, this is where I'm putting him at because he works from within. He gets the identity of his victim and he begins to ruin their life by having crimes and such pinned on them. So yeah, the Outsider's pretty intense. I think Christine, I mean, dude, she's not going to be affected by any of that horse shit. Hat the Rose, it's going to be I mean, yeah, I mean, she's badass. I mean, she's got her own mental shit going on. Like, she can really fuck some people up. All right, so now we have another one of my favorite characters. We have Brady Hartsfield. Now, Brady Hartsfield, he's from the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. This guy, he is a sicko. I mean, psychopath, sociopath, whatever you want to call it. That's him. He's almost like on Annie's level, to be honest with you. Like craziness. Like he's fucked up in the head. I think he would beat out her. Honestly, yeah, I think so. So and he's human now. He does have some supernatural aspects. Man, I didn't think about that until just then. Yeah. So in later books, when he's at his full potential, and this people are probably going to be like, "What the hell?" When he's at book 3 strength, he's making it all the way here before he gets taken out. The outsider could handle him. I think he could get Dandelo, he could get Leland, and he could get Gage. I didn't think about that. Like he is super powered as well. All right, so let's see next. Oh, we got the pup. We got Cujo next. Cujo is a great villain. Honestly, I think Cujo would be. I think Cujo's right here. I think he could probably get Henry, and George has like got some weird, mysterious shit going on with him, so he could probably maybe handle Cujo. Cujo's badass as well, though. All right, we got a big bad. We got Kurt Barlow. Kurt Barlow. Kurt is. Kurt's pretty crazy. I think he's definitely top tier. He's S tier for sure. I think Randall could handle him. I think he could make it through the Overlook. I think Randall would handle him, but Kurt's badass. He's up there. Alright, so next on the list we have another good villain. He is kind of he is featured in the Mercedes trilogy, so he's like one of the other big bad other than Brady Hartsfield. Morris Bellamy. Morris Bellamy. He's human. He's just a fucking. Honestly, he'd be a C. You know, I think he could. Let's see. I think he'd get Greg Stillson. Morris Bellamy. I mean, that guy. Prison for like over 30 years, if I'm not mistaken. He's done some bad things, and that guy's sugar's crazy. All right, so we have another supernatural guy next. This guy is Tack. Tack from Desperation. So Tack is a supernatural, kind of almost a lot like It. He's like It-esque. You know, he possesses bodies, and he's a fucking ancient entity. And honestly, Tack. I mean, he's top tier S. I honestly would love to see him and Kurt Barlow interact. 'Cause, I mean, they're both old as shit. Who knows? They'd probably have like really good conversations. You know. All right. So next up, we have another big bad. Arguably the biggest, baddest person in all of Stephen King. You know, and this would be the Crimson King. I feel like the Crimson King, man, is he gonna beat Pennywise? I think so, man. He's got the whole world working for him. He's gonna find some way. You know, I mean, he runs everything. Yes, he's crazy as shit, but you saw even when he was crazy, he was able to do insanely amount of things. Like the things he could have got done, it was, yeah, he's a badass for sure. All right, next we have another supernatural entity. We have Percy. Percy's from Doomakey. Whatever she, I'm pretty sure, is just a entity that, terrorizes this family and puts them through hell. Uh, Percy, honestly, I think Percy's like top. She's A tier, and I think she could take out Rose the Hat. Percy is pretty badass. All right, let's see. Next we have Mr. Gray. Mr. Gray, he is an alien. He takes over a host by the name of Jonesy in Dreamcatcher, and he can manipulate. His pretty much gives you like a fungal virus. Like he's pretty badass. Mr. Gray, I think him and Brady would have like a pretty. You know what? I think. All right, so I'm moving Brady over the outsider. I think Brady could handle the outsider. I think Mr. Gray could handle the outsider as well. But I think Mr. Gray and Brady, they would have like a mental battle. Like, could you imagine if Mr. Gray got into Brady Hartfield's head and they're just like in there, like talking kind of like him and Jonesy were? Yeah, that'd be pretty intense. All right, so next up we have Mrs. Sixby. Mrs. Sixby, she runs the Institute. We'll say Mrs. Sixby and the Institute. Now, they're pretty crazy as shit. I mean, they have psychics and shit as weapons. They're like weaponizing all kinds of crazy shit. So honestly, I mean, Mrs. Sixby herself, she's human. She can't really, she'd be low tier. But with her having the firepower known as the Institute behind her, yeah, yeah, I think she would go immediately jump above Rose the Hat. But I think Percy could, because I mean, you have to understand how to handle it. I mean, those kids, even psychic or not, like that, she's gonna keep coming, man. Given I guess maybe it's only in Florida that this is tricky. This is, I don't know. I think Percy's above there. All right, next we have another not institute, but another organization, which would be John Rainbird and the Shop from Firestarter. Now, John Rainbird, he's a badass. I think he would. In the Shop, I mean, I put them. I put him with their backup. Yeah, I think actually that's tough, man. The outsider's kind of like, all right. I think that's how it is. I think John Rainberg could take out Brady and the outsider, and I think Mr. Gray would take it to him. All right, guys. Well, this video was longer than I expected, but I mean, there we have it. Looks like I do have a top tier list pretty loaded down. So I wasn't too harsh on these villains. I mean, you guys feel free to tell me what you think. Hey, like the video if you liked the video. If you didn't, don't like it. But thanks for watching anyway. This is Kingless Jester, and I'm out of here.